Good morning. Good morning. We are trading live on Price Action Live here with TradersPost, where we show you guys how we manage our trades from TradingView across multiple prop accounts. At this point, we have been trading across multiple accounts on TradersPost with Apex, the Futures Desk. We've got Take Profit Trader, Topstep, Tradeify. Several accounts are definitely lined up. And as Trevor knows here, I have one account in particular that I'm about $501 away from a payout on. So the pressure is on for me to actually
the dad in me would say, just don't trade today.
Just don't trade.
Silly.
I got to do something to get to the goal here.
How many times have I
put a
been
little risk on?
only $150 away from payout? Q account blowing. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't think that will. But yeah, keep it tight. Keep the stop losses there.
Totally agree there. On the other accounts, I'm about 60% of the way to goal. So I'll be working on trying to get a small position in today, managing and nursing a small trade, and then getting out pretty quickly because we've got the FOMC decision day today. And I'm not entirely sure. I probably should have prepared a little bit more for this. I'm not entirely sure if any of the prop firms I just mentioned have rules against trading around or on Fed decision days. Are you aware of any in your mind, or are you guys in the comments?
I don't think
so.
Know?
Okay.
I know that like the Take Profits of the world will send out emails when you're not allowed to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I didn't get any emails this morning indicating that today was a no-go day. So that's good. So we should be able to just take a quick scalp, maybe one trade from the open. We'll manage that pretty tightly, manage the risk, and then we'll pull this position off and call it a day. We've got a pretty exciting call this morning too at TradersPost that will be with a partner we're hoping to join forces with, and it'll make it a little bit easier to trade from charts like these. But we'll see how that conversation goes today.
Coming into the open, kind of conflicting views across time frames. Bearish on the 4-hour, flat on the 1 hour, bearish on all their smaller time frames.
See, I added 2 more today, so I'm at 29. Nice. I'll just put 20 plus. All right, there's the open. So a little bit of a bearish candle right off the bat. I've noticed it was in this little consolidation range in the electronic session, and it was bouncing off these anchored VWAPs. So I see that as resistance. We've already started to see some of this pullback here, and we're starting to change the curve of the trend. So I would be unsurprised if we push below this recent anchored VWAP from here and either find support at 23,386 or even lower at 23,328. So I want to see how the first couple candles open here, and I'll start to look at opening a position. Again, I really only trade NQ, M&Q. Sometimes I'll pop into gold if I think there's a trade there or anything that seems to be trending. I tend to miss it, though. I'm usually so focused on what's going on with NQ that I miss the gold trades.
Gold is a good like contrarian trade sometimes, and I'll always be, instead of I'll be watching for a bounce in NQ instead of flipping over to gold and going, oh my God, gold is just going the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, I think what I love about gold is that it vacillates between correlated and uncorrelated with NQ. And so usually I'll take the opposite side. If it's currently uncorrelated by negative 0.7 or positive 0.7, which is a fairly strong correlation signal, then I will, take the opposite side, right? If it's uncorrelated, then that divergence is done, and now it should be moving to convergence. And so that's a good time to kind of take the same direction. And it seems to just flip-flop back and forth over and over again. I've got some quantitative stuff I'd like to do to try to measure that a little bit more closely, and then maybe build an indicator off of that too that will help me say, hey, the relationship is pretty strong here to just go short gold while you're going long NQ or vice versa. All right, so we had this tiny little gap here too from the previous open. I wouldn't really consider that a real gap. It's too small. There's part of the sell-off. There's the anchor VWAP. So I really think I need to start getting short here. Go ahead and start a position. My initial positions are almost always just 2 M and Q. I usually start pretty small. Keep an eye on what's going on here. So basically, the moment I open a position, I try to keep Tradeify open off to the side so I can just kind of keep track of the live P&L.
That's smart.
Well, the funny thing is that I have so many prop firms that are on Tradeify or Project X, and you can't, at least I haven't figured out a way to do this yet. You can't really monitor all those accounts in real time across multiple logins. So I kind of have to use one login as a proxy to all of the accounts that I have set up on TradersPost.
Here comes a bounce, probably.
All right, well, that trade started to turn against me almost immediately. On the 5-minute chart, we're still below the short-term EMAs. I have an 8 and a 55 on here, so I'll keep an eye on that. Looks like we might be pulling back again. All right, so we pushed up slightly. We're above the session VWAP after the 4th minute here, but we're retesting the electronic VWAP. So I just want to keep an eye on whether that's going to be a place to add to my short or to start to get out of the position. So I'll start to prepare my exit line here, which I'll typically put above the highest candle.
Here it goes.
Interesting. Okay, it looks like I was wrong on that initial move here right off the bat. So that previous VWAP line was actually, or anchored VWAP was actually support here. So I might need to look at reversing this position. But I think what I'll do is just wait a second here, start to see if this pulls back and retest VWAP for a long, and then go long from there. That's an interesting open, though, isn't it? Look at that initial 5-minute candle.
Just want a little dip and rip.
So just another good reason to keep your position small when you get started, especially from the open. So I realized a $174 loss on that account where I needed to make 500. So now my goal is 700. So if I take another trade here, I think I'll probably just take one and then call it from here.
How much did you lose on that?
Say again?
Did you lose money on that one? The short?
Yeah, I lost $174.80 on that one trade. Real quick, tight trade, 2 contracts, M and Q. All right, is that the orb now? Music going here. All right, interesting. So I'm starting to see these candles test the weekly VWAP as well as another anchored VWAP that I had set up on the higher time frames. So I want to see if these will serve as resistance or if we're going to break past this and push even higher. If so, that's an interesting move. I mean, I see how we've started to establish some support here, and there is some potential to break to the upside on the day. But on FOMC days, it seems like it's anyone's guess.
To my camera.
Fixing your camera, Trevor?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just like froze for a second. Yeah, FOMC days are just this is of all the days to just not do anything. It's, as a new trader especially, it's tough to take breaks or take days off because there's always some trade that you think that you would have taken, or oh, it's so obvious today. But man, what are there 220 trading days, 225 trading days? There's other days. No, 250 might have been even more.
252. Okay, interesting. There's the retrace back to VWAP. Let me get my long signal. We'll take a look at whether a long makes sense or if it's just going to pull right back down below VWAP and we go back short.
Let's look at ES.
All right, I'll go ahead and do this from here. That's looking like it's starting to push off of VWAP. So that put me in a little higher than I wanted, but we still have a position open long. I'm going to pull the stop a little bit below. It'll probably be a little bit tight. So we're risking another 40 or 50 points here. And hopefully we start to see a long build. Yeah, it's about 40 points. Again, I guess we're testing off of VWAP. We're testing to see if all this bullish momentum will continue past what could be resistance. And then the next point from here would be to see if we can surpass the overnight high and then push further from there. It was pretty bullish yesterday, or excuse me, the day before, and that overnight session. But then the whole session yesterday was really bearish. So we're kind of in this like sideways channel where we keep retesting this range. So it, again, I feel really kind of indecisive. It's a tough one. I can't tell which direction we're going to continue on. Okay, great. I'm starting to move in the direction we're hoping for. I think I'll add to this if we break outside of the orb. We've got music going, right?
Mm-hmm. I hear it.
Cool. All right, we got a few people watching the stream. What are you guys looking at today? Trading NQ, trading gold, avoiding the trading altogether? I wouldn't blame you.
You will not get the disrespect of me for that.
Are you in anything today, Trevor?
I'm not. I took a payout on my take profit trader yesterday. I'm trying to just sit out today.
Got it. Well, this is not quite the fast-moving open I'm used to. And it seems like resistance is really starting to show up on the weekly VWAP. But I'm going to watch this to see how it responds to the session view app again and see if we can get this long to break out above the orb. It's looking like I might be wrong twice, though.
Tricky price action for sure.
It's tricky if it keeps doing, if it keeps doing this kind of stuff where it can't establish a direction, then it's really tough. And for me, as a trend follower, I can't really make any money if there is no trend. The choppy days are the worst for me, so I try to quickly identify whether we're in a chop. I usually can tell a couple of different ways. One is seeing how much price and the wicks are straddling across moving averages. And you can see these first three candles are straddling across most of the lines. That's a pretty good indication right off the bat that we're in kind of a choppy day. The second is whether it just keeps moving back and forth above and below, closing below and above VWAP. Those are usually choppy days as well. So within the first few trades, if I take 2 or maybe 3 trades, if it's behaving that way, I just try to skip the whole day because I just know where it's going after that. I can't think of a session that I avoided like that ended up being a trend day after the chop. It's usually chop or sideways for the rest of the day. Tom, my trading went really, really well yesterday. Thanks for asking. Made 1,000 across all the accounts and then 1,700 on the large 150 account that I'm almost at profit target on.
Let's go.
I've now got to claim back that $200 loss from this morning just now. So I'm $22 into profit on this trade right now. Hopefully we've got an opportunity to make a little money in that account and get past the profit target.
There was a time.
Cool. Here we go.
There we go.
All right. Pull that in just a little bit. And we should see a breakout from here. Okay, I went ahead and added to that position on the orb breakout, but we're waiting for some momentum here. There we go. Okay. So you need to see a little bit of momentum once you add to that position there from the breakout. This is obviously a very popular trading strategy for a lot of traders out there. So there's usually quite a bit of support here where you can expect some continuation from an orb breakout. If you do any Google search for trading strategies out there, the opening range breakout is a really popular one. So I try to rely on that for the momentum I need for some of my opening positions.
So this will be your first payout, right? When this hits.
This will be my first payout on my entire prop firm journey. Yep, and I started in November of last year. I believe that was the first account. Let me see. I actually want to do a post on the whole process because it took me a while to get here. When was it? The first one was October 3rd, actually. Yeah, so I've been at it a little over 9 months now. And I hate to describe it, but I'm going to keep myself accountable. I will list out the number of accounts I lost to get to this point, and it's not a small amount. I think the big discovery for me was really just trying to dial in that risk management process, dialing in how tight the losses could be. And I still don't do it perfectly. If you look at my trading calendar, the one I just posted for yesterday, you can see there's still days that I still take too much loss. Just in July here so far, I had 2 days that were over 3,000 compared to the average profit you see on the remainder of these days. So there's still some work to do to clean up my risk management.
Risk management is the name of the game.
For sure. Bummer. So this is not exciting. It looks like the momentum I was hoping for there did not play out. So I got to get ready to maybe pull this position out and go the opposite direction. We just saw a red candle pulling back from the top of orb and retesting view app, session view app. Fortunately, I'm not in a huge position, but down $40 on this position right now. Let's see where we go from here. All right, that's exciting. Good to see that buyers stepped in right at session view app.
I wonder what the payout would look like if they did do a cut, and you bet that on like Kalshi or one of those social brokerage things. It's probably
That's
like $100
pays
$1 million.
I'm sure Tom knows exactly how much the payout is on Kalshi for a Fed cut, because obviously you're taking the long odds. We had this up earlier today. If you're interested in the probabilities on where Fed decisions are, the futures market is where you can get that prediction, and they're almost never wrong. Right now, there's a 97% chance of a pause, but if you're taking the long odds, there's a 3.1% chance that they'll do a cut today.
It's $100 pays $3,100. I feel like
that's crazy.
Bad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's long odds. That's what suckers probably say. And I'm a sucker.
Yep. Good morning, Aventura Trader. How are you, man? All right, getting ready to pull this position now. It's getting closer to the bottom of my regression trend, and that trend is starting to weaken to the long side. I'm less and less excited about this being a bullish breakout, and I may have to take one last trade for the morning to go short the other direction, which just goes in line with me saying this already starts to feel like chop. So
yeah.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull. Not a fan of what's happening here. And I'll get ready to open a short here on the other side. Right about there.
If this goes
all right, one last try. Down 300 on the account. It's a little more than I wanted. I'll keep this risk really, really tight because I think this is probably the third and last trade. And I make this mistake a lot where I keep chasing the trade and end up taking more losses than I originally had hoped for. So I'm already off course a little bit. We had already agreed that I was going to keep it tight at $200. I'm down 300 now. So let's see if we can get this last short to actually play out and make some profit here for the day.
What's your target on the short?
I never have a target. The target is whenever the trend ends.
Nice.
And days like yesterday are a perfect example of this. I had no idea where support was going to show up. I thought it might have been on a weekly VWAP. It wasn't. It continued. So, I just keep going until the trend ends. The stats seem to play out, though. I've got about a 55% win rate and a 1.6 profit factor. So you can see that more often than not, I'm right more than I'm wrong. But also, I tend to take profits at about 1.5 times where my stop loss is set. And I'm still working on trying to improve that. Not all days I hold the winners as long as I probably should. So I'm trying to get better at that side too. Yeah, this is starting to feel more and more like a choppy day. It seems doubtful that we'll see a trend from here. We've been in this range for a little while, including in the electronic session, and we just pushed off support there again. So if there's any break of this range, I'm hoping it's to the downside at this point. But if we push back above VWAP and break outside of this little regression channel, then I'm just going to have to pull this trade, and we're down 350 or so for the day. Anything interesting going on in gold? No, not really. Looks pretty illiquid, actually. Oil's pretty sideways, chopping above and below VWAP as well. I don't know if I've really cracked oil, though. That's a tough one to trade. It's such a range. It's obviously a range-bound asset. We know that it's more stationary than other assets. It doesn't really trend as much as NQ or gold does, obviously. So it's a tough one. I haven't really quite figured out a good strategy for oil or nat gas for that matter.
I feel like those you really have to understand. I mean, gold is, when you're the wrong side on gold, you're just like, what is gold? But oil, I have no clue when it comes to oil.
Yeah. And arguably, there's a lot of the economics of oil that I'm not intimately versed on. I'm aware of some of the aspects of it, when decisions are made, what impact supply and demand has, how counterintuitive supply and demand can be on price. I have some of that understanding, but watching it as a technical analyst is pretty tough. It's definitely something I need to brush up on more. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit more of a breakdown below VWAP here. I like this candle that's forming right now on this 1 minute chart. On the 5 minute chart, we're starting to see a little bit stronger of a signal below my moving averages, so that looks better. Hopefully we're out of chop territory now, but if not, then again, I'm just going to have to pull this trade and we'll call it a day. It's not exactly a huge open. We're up 12, 13 basis points from yesterday's close on NQ, so we're kind of sideways, really. And the VIX is slightly higher. Yes, even though yesterday I think the VIX started out at 14, and then we had that decent sell-off, but it only raised the VIX by 2 points. All right, it's looking like I'm going to have to pull this one again. This is a chop day for sure. Bummer. I was hoping to request a payout today, Trev.
I mean, it's a bad day. It is a bad day.
Yep, and I don't have much time before I get uncomfortable with the session anyway. If we had a little bit of a trend, sure, but if not, then what are you going to do? And I don't want to be anywhere near the Fed decision period. I know some people that do some crazy stuff there. I've watched people try to take both sides in two different accounts. Not prop accounts, but live accounts. They'll do a long and a short and have a take on either side. So it's kind of an asymmetric fixed risk. But then what ends up happening in some cases is the Fed decisions breaks at 2 p.m. Eastern, and they hit both of their stops sometimes, which is just hilarious. It's like they go full port on this ridiculous hedged, quote unquote hedged position and lose on both sides.
Yeah, I've seen that with prop, especially. It's what I've done it before. I call it the stop method, where you just put a stop market order and it just ping, but it can bing it, and then there's like a delay, and then it fills, and you're filled weird. And in practice, it's better if you're just trying to catch a bounce versus betting on some random data.
I'm starting to like this. So maybe we get a trend. I went ahead and added to this position. Might have jumped the gun. But again, I'll keep the risk pretty tight. I'm slightly in profit, so I'm going to see if I can get a continuation of this downtrend here. I was going to potentially scalp from here. The way I scalp is a different line on here, but essentially the trade is it enters one contract NQ and then takes profit at 15 points and stop loss at 20 points. That is the one other way I'm trading that does have defined risk. And I do have a specified take profit, but it has to be in a day in which I've identified a trend. And I know for sure that we're going to continue in that direction. Or at least I have a high chance of it continuing in that direction, and I can pick up those 15 points real fast. Bummer. So we still haven't even broken outside of the orb yet to the downside. We attempted it to the upside and it failed. We rejected off of some of the what I would consider a weekly VWAP projection as well as that anchored VWAP projection. We posted below and had a full close below VWAP for the session, and I'm hoping that we see a continuation to the downside from here. But if we push above VWAP again, even ever so slightly, I'm just going to have to take the risk off the table because that'll be a $400 loss day, which is twice what I had hoped for.
There's a question. I'm new to trading. I have a strategy on TradingView I want to automate and use on the demo. How do I go about that?
Hey, Curious Case, thanks for the question. You can use the TradersPost paper account. It's not exactly the best paper account on our system. We just kind of put it together to show you how trades could come through and kind of test basic strategies. So your best case would be to open a paper account with like TradeStation or Tradeify, and you can send your trades through their simulator, which are definitely more robust than the TradersPost one is. That assumes that you're trading futures here. We're doing prop firm futures trading here. If you have other asset classes you want to test, like stocks or options, you can check our connections page to see which ones support paper accounts. You know, some days I wish that the prop firm activity that's out there now had any impact on the markets whatsoever, because I feel like there's probably a fair amount of short sellers right now, and they can't actually affect the price. It sucks.
There's a lot of demo volume coming in.
I kind of want to measure that. Like, I would be very curious how much demo volume there is relative to live markets, just specifically in prop. We see it at TradersPost. We know how much demo volume there is, and it's enormous compared to the live markets. That's largely because people just throw around all kinds of different trades in a simulated environment. And in the live market, you're much more careful about your entries and so on and so forth. But I would be very curious how much, simulated prop firm volume there is relative to the live markets at any point. All right, looking a little bit better. Still kind of sideways. We really need to break the orb, and then I'll feel a little bit better. Peter says elbow cough. To which point, Peter? I don't feel like I said anything particularly controversial. Trevor, poke it with a stick. What's going on, man? Make it work.
It's FOMC day. People are just waiting. I don't see a reason to push up, but I'm an idiot. So
I mean, I appreciate the vote of confidence to my short sell here, but we need to go somewhere.
Logically, I would say people would, de-risk whatever, and then try to buy it lower if something good happens. But I mean, I wouldn't see a reason to like be ripping from the open this morning. But once again, what do I know? It's all priced in, man.
Okay, so I'm now understanding that Peter's elbow cough comment is a Canadian version of saying you're right. So I'm going to have to elbow cough now to confirm that people are right. Apparently, that's the polite way of gesturing that. Thank you, my Canadian friends.
He's dabbing. No, it's a dab.
All right, so we're a little bit in profit on this trade. We're 4 contracts short. We've been able to claim back about $100 of that $350 loss. Let's see if we can get back into break even at this point in the accounts. I'd be great with that. Then I can try again tomorrow and see if we can actually sweep up that $500 I need for a payout. I mean, by all measures, this is starting to look like the trend that I need, but we need a breakdown candle from here. We'll need to break out of the orb. So we're going to wait a little bit longer, and the risk is still the same. We'll have that exit set up right above VWAP here. I'll probably set this up right here. So this last trade still ends up being about 40 points of loss, or sorry, 22 points of loss. So very tight, controlled trade for the end, and it would be about $400 down on the day. So that puts my new profit target goal at $900 for the next trading session, if this fails. Well, looks like we picked up a few more visitors on the stream. Thanks, guys, for joining. Are you all trading prop firm accounts? Are you long? Are you short? Are you avoiding the FOMC decision day? I think the opinions are kind of all over the place. We did have, interestingly, and Tom, maybe you have an opinion on this one. GDP growth rate was up 3% quarter over quarter versus a forecast of 2.4%. Sounds really strong. That's actually one of the more stronger surprises that I've seen in a little while. And I would expect that would lead to a pretty bullish breakout. We did have, let's see, what am I on? UTC. Where is it? We didn't have much of a response from the market, though, on that news, which I found surprising during the electronic session. I don't like it, Trev. I don't like it.
I didn't like it. I didn't like any of this. You're better than this, Mike.
Yeah, I can't win every day.
No, I just the snip, snap stuff.
Yep. I had a feeling this was going to be a chop day from the open, though. And there it is. All right, I'm not even going to touch the stop line. I'll just let this execute if necessary. If I get lucky here, it would be because sellers step in right at this exact moment. If we go any higher than this, I'm going to stop out, and that would be down $400 for the day. And then we can get to business. We got other things to do at TradersPost.
Mm-hmm. Throw $100 on Kalshi. Make it all back. Who needs payouts? You got $3,100.
Come on, sellers.
Just laser down. Pew.
I've seen it. It can happen. Just like that candle earlier here at 847. Nope. All right, we just opened a new 1 minute candle above VWAP. That's not what I need. And I'm out of my trade. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the session. I will not continue this mayhem. I have been killed by chop over and over and over again as a trader, and this is my signal that this is chop. If we can't continue a trend, there's no sense in trading. These are days that I'm looking for. This is nonsense. So I'm going to go ahead and call it from here. I hope you all are doing better than me today, though. Keep it safe, keep the risk tight. Continue on the journey. It's tough, but the biggest thing is obviously trying to stay disciplined around that risk management side of things. Aventura asks, what kind of webcam do you use, Trevor? Because yours looks way better than mine.
Thank you. It is actually an iPhone. It's a spare iPhone.
Oh, that's right.
It is an iPhone 13 Pro in continuity camera mode. So I was using it on my own phone because I liked how it looked. And then my parents randomly were like, we want to upgrade our phones and move over to T-Mobile and do this whole thing. So I said to my dad kind of sheepishly, I was like, what are you doing with that old phone? He's like, well, how much can I sell it for? And I was like, I don't know, $200-$300. I was like, can I have it for my webcam? And he's like, yeah, whatever. So he just gave it to me. So I wiped it, and now it's just always just chilling there. But yeah, I like how it looks. Thank you.
Just a phone. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I feel like the mobile devices have come so far. Do you have like the bokeh effect enabled on the phone then? Is that why it's blurry? Or is that in the app?
On part of the Mac thing, there's portrait mode, which I just turned off. So it has like portrait mode built in. Studio. Oh, I guess there's like studio light. Then you can do the reactions. Center stage is like follows you around and stuff. But yeah, no, I like it. Thank you. Cool. It's all about the lighting too.
It is all about the lighting. At the end of the day, you got to put some decent lights on your face in order to make this work. Okay. Well,
time for rejection. Straight down.
Tom says that the mission is actually to get me to YOLO my entire account into a 10x trade. I don't think that day is coming, Tom. Well, maybe I'll do it on one account. I would do it on one. I have plenty to burn essentially, but man, that's a little bit of an expensive experiment just to see if we can make it happen. And of course, this chop continues. Watch it push below VWAP, push me back into theoretical profit again, and then continue from here. See, this is my problem, guys. I don't like the FOMO feeling I get here, where I feel like I have to keep chasing trades. I'm already down on the day, and I don't want to do it. If a trend's not forming from the open, it's not going to happen today. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. I got to get prepped for our next call here anyway. So I look forward to meeting with my team on the TradersPost side. We got a couple of meetings we're doing today to cover some marketing things and some partnerships. Looking forward to continuing to build an excellent product on TradersPost for prop firm traders, for futures traders, stocks, options, crypto. We support all kinds of stuff: automation, discretionary trading, basically any approach that works for you. Thanks again for joining the stream today. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Tom says, yes, Mike, FOMO. No FOMO. FOMO is not a strategy, Tom. Stop trying to encourage me to make bad choices. All right, guys. Cheers. Hope you do really well today. Let's just see where the Fed goes from here, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Thanks, Trevor, for being here.
Always.